I mean, even this last run with Roseanne, I mean, that was on ABC, which we just talked about in the opening, buried Epstein investigations because they didn't want to hurt the Clintons in 2016. I mean, how did you?
They hired back James Gunn too.
Yeah, but you got shit canned. But they kept them all together.
And they kept my work.
I'm telling you, I don't know. This was stuff you could only find a conversation on in anonymous message boards at one point, and now I feel like it's bubbling right at the beneath the surface, though. So
I just feel like people should hear me because they can't just keep keeping me off of all media. You know, I mean, like Trump. This is why Trump tweets, and this is why he does his updates every day. That's all. You know, this media, this free media, and by God, may it stay free and not get engulfed by fascism like sometimes I feel it is being done to the Q movement. And I have to speak out about that too. I'd like to give a shout out to Bernie at Truth and Art TV, who really has connected so many dots for America about how anti-Semitism is indeed the cudgel being used in our country right now. But it has real effects on Jewish people. As I say, every day now in America, a Jew is attacked on the street. And it's not reported and it's excused. You don't allow Nazism in this country. When we just, you know, our grandfathers died. Our grandfathers are dead for kicking its ass last time. You don't bring it here to the grandkids. No, you're not going to do that. They're not going to do that as long as I have the breath. And, you know, and I just have to say it, and I know it gets me in trouble. But, you know, I can't stop because I'm seeing a terrible rise in anti-Semitism in the United States. Every day, a Jewish person is attacked. Every day. In France, a Jew is attacked one in 3 days. So America's on fire. And, you know, they better wake up. And, you know, because what starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews. You should know that.
Well,
and this is just fascism and shut down dialogue, particularly around the subject of, you know, double standards of this world for the one Jewish state that exists on it. And that needs to be discussed, and they're not going to shut me up. I don't care. I know everybody's like, you better go back on medicine because you just can't shut your fucking mouth. Well, I'm a comedian, and I shouldn't have to shut my fucking mouth.
Well, I mean,
I'm not gonna.
Well, especially then, let's talk about Hollywood for a second there.
It's just a terrible system. It's a terrible racist, unjust system, and the fact that they had the balls to call me a racist after I fought with them for 20 years in every writer's room to hire black writers, they're not going to get away with it. I reject their analysis.
Well, you know,
it's just like that in Hollywood. They stand there waiting for you to say the wrong word, and then they get that thing they're addicted to besides whatever that chrome is they drink. But they're also addicted, maybe that chrome adds to it, but they're addicted to self-righteousness, and they just sit there combing through and listening to words so they can go, what was that you said? Did you actually say the word? And I knew it was going to happen when Obama signed the NDAA. I tweeted out the next day, Obama just killed comedy. You know. You know, I lost everything I worked my whole life for. And now my head shakes uncontrollably, just so people know that. It wasn't easy. And now my head shakes all the time. And, you know, they just walk around like, you know, I guess people, when you don't have no regard for people you consider to be your lessers, you're already on the goddamn Nazi hook, you stupid assholes. You better stop it. You better stop classifying a whole class of working Americans of all races. You better stop classifying them as deplorable. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I am sick of these people who think nothing of destroying people's lives for the smallest thing. I'm sick of them.
I'm with you on that one there too. We just saw.
I have to smoke to calm down.
Hey, you calm down. Let me try. because you've been one of those people who have been able to survive the beating that comes along with talking about the connection between Hollywood, MK Ultra, human trafficking, blackmail. Before there was a Pizzagate, you were talking about stuff like this, and remarkably, you've been able to weather that storm. When was the first time you
No,
realized?
I haven't. They finally got me. Christ, they were at me every single day of my whole career. I mean, oh my God, you don't know how horrible to have people hiding under your wedding cake and violating all your security all the time just to show you they could do it. That's been since day one, which was 1988. So it isn't just, they finally got me, you know. They tried to fire me off the original Roseanne show and all that stuff too, you know. Just people don't like me there, whatever. They just don't like me.
And that's and so now aside from
Even
that,
though I hired them and gave them their career and shit, they don't like me.
so then what would you say is that first moment that you realized something was terribly wrong? Was it the party, or was it other things? When did you start actually applying yourself into this kind of activism behind the scenes?
Well, it's a very horrible story, but they used to have this thing, Make a Wish, and these kids got to get their wish, you know, before they died. They were terminal, and I've told this before, but sometimes it gets me, man. But this little black girl, she was 8 years old. And her name was Renee, and her wish was me, you know. And so she came to the show, and she drew me a picture, and I hung it on the fridge there on the Roseanne show. I hope they didn't take that out. But she was an 8-year-old girl dying of AIDS because her mother's boyfriend raped her all the time. Yeah. And, you know, I just couldn't take it. But before that, I'd been hospitalized several times with mental illness. And every time I would go to the hospital, you know, other people in there, they went through some shit that nobody could even know about, even today. I'm waiting though. But yeah, so I mean, once your head gets cracked open like mine was, it don't never grow back. You can't just walk away. I guess some people can, but I'm not somebody who can give up or quit or walk away, you know, except for my friend Brandon Straka. I like to walk away with him.
Yeah, he's nice. He's a good guy.
He's a great person. He defends me, and I like that. Thank him. He's one of the only ones that I know of that gets it anyway. But yeah, and the other thing was that they drown out my apology. I mean, I must have made about 50 apologies on all networks and any place that would have me on, and none of them would have me on, even ABC. And Whoopi, my friend, wouldn't even have me on, or Joy, who I thought was my friend too. But racist, 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 and all the newspapers colluded, and they'd say racist, racist, or the racist tweet. Well, I thought she was white, so I'm guilty of not assessing someone's race or gender correctly. And I just don't like that in America, because this ain't no lockdown. I mean, it is for the way they did it. Like, how come they're voting for Joe Biden when he's the one that put out that law that you know, locked most of the black prisoners up in this country? And you know, they're holding him up like he's not a racist and Trump is. It's like it's an hourglass flip. In mind control, that's what it's called.
The experience, the memories, especially of that of the little girl with Make-A-Wish. First of all, is that
Her name's Renee.
Renee's drawing is on the refrigerator on the set of Roseanne?
Yeah, on the original. I don't know if they kept it.
Well,
but yeah, every show.
Now I can see why. I mean, on top of everything else, on top of this is such a personal onslaught, but to also to use racism in a way that you know, all your experiences in life.
With people who are real racist.
Yeah.
Real racist.
Yeah.
You know, it might have been at its worst that I mistook someone's race, but if that was in fact offensive, I've apologized for that too. And they just don't accept apologies, the left. It's never enough till they get blood. They always want blood. They never forgive.
Well,
But they want to be forgiven, though. But they just go like this. Well, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, that's what we had to do. You know, okay, we disobeyed the Woods laws when we signed these FISA documents. But, you know, that we were told to do that. You know, it's that whole thing about following orders. It's just awful. We can't have that. We didn't fight for this country all these years and be the country on earth that stopped slavery. We ended slavery with our blood on this continent. Stop lying. Stop dividing us. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not going to let you do it.
Sometimes I think you're yelling at me, I have to say.
I'm just yelling at the devil, you know? I'm yelling at the fucking devil.
Oh, man, I could hear you say, stop it. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But
no, I'm sorry.
No.
They're tricking y'all. And I tried to tell you the truth, and, you know, like Jack Nicholson said, some of you couldn't handle it. But it was the truth. And I'm always for the truth, because I'm a comedian. And that's what we fucking do. Get over it. Christ, no wonder nobody's funny anymore. God damn it. There's not a funny fucking thing going on. I'm sick of it.
For me, I mean, there's so many awful ironies that you brought up right there. Just
it's all fucking crazy.
Yeah, projection. Yeah, projection and irony.
I know, but it's funny. I'm trying to turn it into jokes, you know. But that's what happens. Jokes come after the tragedy, and this has been a real tragedy on my body, my mind, my health, my family, you know, and you know, they tell me, you know, to keep my mouth shut now, or they're going to do worse to me. But you know what? I'm an old grandma, and you know, I believe in God, and I think it's going to be biblical.
I would hope so.
I think God wins.
I think you're a part of a large group of people who are banking on that too. And I want to ask you about this too. You know, how do you start when you start coming?
And you know, a lot of them are Democrats. I'm not going to play that game. I know there's a lot of Democrats who know, and they're just afraid to move. But come on, move. Do it just this once.
You're talking about move politically, shift your behavior.
Yeah, like I did. When I saw what the Democrat-run cities look like, when I saw I saw that what CPS was doing in the black community, black children, I saw it, and so I'm not going to stay silent. I don't care. Fuck them. I can't. I wish I could. I wish there was a medicine that make me shut my fucking big mouth. But every time I try, and I do pray every day, God, please help me keep my big mouth shut before I get in even more trouble. And God just tells me, no, I'm not going to help you shut your mouth. You got to do it.
That sounds like
I say, okay.
Yeah, sounds like a prayer I'm going to be saying for the rest of my life too.
But you know, then we all voted for Trump, and they lost their minds because they got that. They got us. Now they have to deal with us. You know, they have to deal with us. They're going to have to pay people decent money and bring manufacturing back. They're going to have to do all those things that they sent away, all those things that they sold us out. They're going to have to bring it back and let it work for people, because that's what people want: good jobs, nice home, you know, a nice life, good education for their children of all colors and creeds and nations and religions. That's what America is. So we're going to have the country we we deserve. I believe it. I do. I believe it. I believe it's coming, and that this double standard will no longer hold. And I told you earlier when we talked, the thing that upsets me so much about anti-Semitism is that it's a double standard. It's the ultimate double standard in the world. And it's like to hold one country, the only Jewish one, to a completely different standard than all other countries. That is the definition of racism. That is the definition of double standards. And I'm not for double standards in any way. I want one law for all people. I want one justice system for all people. That's why we're Americans, and that's what we hold on to. We hold on to that people who don't have money and are of darker skin hues get convicted, wrongly convicted with fake evidence every day and put in prison where they're forced to work as a labor camp to make products for corporations at 16 cents an hour. Now, your bullshit has run out, both of you, both sides, Republican and Democrat, and now you're going to have to answer to the people. But there are some people that they just can't get. They just can't get you no matter how hard they try. But, they do need to get somebody, I guess, and keep the heat off their own nefarious deeds. That's always it. The busybody and the church lady from Saturday Night Live, they're always the ones with the skeletons in the closet. The rest of us, we tell everything. We don't hide nothing. We ain't got nothing to be ashamed of.
Hmm. Well, you know.
And that's why we don't go around pointing our finger at other people. We just want to live our lives. We just want to do our work and make our art. And, then they get, look what passes for art. People worshiping Satan and all this shit. What the fuck? That pisses me off, too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, I just feel like, I'm me and, I'm watching what it is so awful. If you guys even knew how awful for something that, a mistake I made in assessing someone's race. And also they already hated me because one time I said people with an exposed penis should not be in a little girl's sauna. And they've hated me since then. But, they hated me when I said I was against partial birth abortion too. And they hated me when I said they better include little boys as victims in all their Me Too shit. And they better include women who are abusers as well, or else they're meaningless to me. They don't like me because I'm not full of shit. I'm crazy as fuck, but I'm not full of shit.
That's a good way to be.